Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we dive into company filings. And, well, let's just say sometimes the real story is buried under a lot of official language. Today we're looking at Webster Financial Corporation, and this filing is an interesting one because it is actually an amendment to a previous report. It is like finding a typo in an official document and having to go back and fix it. They're essentially correcting a missing signature, but as always, we'll dig a little deeper to see if there is anything else worth noting. Before we jump in, if you like getting clear, no-nonsense breakdowns of these corporate documents, make sure you are subscribed. And if you want to chat with me and other finance enthusiasts about these filings, we have a Discord community linked down in the description below. So, Webster Financial Corporation, they're a bank, and this particular filing is an amendment to a Form 8. Think of an 8K as a report for big, unexpected events that happen pretty suddenly in a company. This filing tells us about their results for the quarter ending the 31st of December 2025. And it seems the main reason for this amended filing is just to add a missing signature from their Executive Vice President and Chief Accounting Officer. It is like signing off on the report after the fact. The report itself is dated the 23rd of January 2026, and it mentions that they issued a press release on the same day to talk about their financial results for the quarter ending the 31st of December 2025. Usually these press releases are a way for companies to present their financial picture in a more digestible way, and it is attached as Exhibit 99.1. They're also mentioning a conference call that happened on the 23rd of January 2026 to discuss these financial results with presentation slides and a webcast available for people to check out. Now, looking at the company's registered securities, they have common stock and a couple of different types of preferred stock. Preferred stock is essentially a type of stock that has a higher claim on assets and earnings than common stock. Think of it as getting your money back or your dividends before the common stockholders do. Webster has Series F and Series G preferred stock, and these are traded on the New York Stock Exchange, or NICE for short. The tickers for these are WBS for common stock, WBS-PRF for the Series F preferred, and WBS-PRG for the Series G preferred. Okay, so within the filing, item 2.02 is where they talk about their results of operations and financial condition. Since this is an amended report, and the original report was filed on the 23rd of January 2026, the company is just clarifying that this amendment is solely to add a missing signature. They're emphasizing that no other changes were made to the original Form 8K or its exhibits. So the financial information itself shouldn't have changed from the initial filing. The report mentions that the press release attached as Exhibit 99.1 contains the company's operating results for the quarter ending the 31st of December 2025. It is important to note that the information in this report, including the press release, is not deemed to be filed for the purposes of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. This means it is more of an informational disclosure rather than a formal filing that carries the same legal weight. Then we have item 7.01, which is for Regulation FD disclosure. This is all about fair disclosure, making sure that all investors get the same information at the same time. Here, they're referencing the conference call that was held on the 23rd of January 2026 to discuss their financial results. They mentioned that presentation slides and a link to the webcast were available on their investor relations website. This part is really about how they communicate important company news to the public. And finally, item 9.01 deals with financial statements and exhibits. This section just lists the attached documents here. They list Exhibit 99.1, which is the press release dated the 23rd of January 2026, and Exhibit 104, which is the cover page interactive data file, usually embedded within the filing itself for easier electronic data processing. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter, the financial performance for the quarter ending the 31st of December 2025. Since this is an amendment, the core financial story we're referencing comes from the original, the 23rd of January filing. While the filing itself doesn't present detailed financial tables in this specific section, it directs us to the press release, Exhibit 99.1, for those details. Imagine if you were looking at a summary report that said, "See Appendix for full financials." That is essentially what is happening here. The press release would contain the actual numbers like revenue, net income, earnings per share, and any significant changes from prior periods. Without the direct financial tables here, we have to assume the press release provided by Webster Financial Corporation offered a snapshot of their performance. Based on the structure of filings like this, the press release would typically highlight key metrics such as total revenue, net interest income, non-interest income provisions for credit losses, and net earnings. They would likely compare these figures to the same quarter in the previous year and possibly to the preceding quarter to show trends. For a bank like Webster, investors would be closely watching trends in loan growth, deposit growth, Net interest margin and efficiency ratios. Any significant shift in these areas would signal either a strengthening or weakening of their core business operations. For example, if the press release showed a strong increase in net interest income, it would suggest they are effectively managing their lending and borrowing activities, perhaps by making more loans or benefiting from higher interest rates on their assets. Conversely, a decline might indicate increased competition for loans, higher funding costs, or a more cautious lending environment. Similarly, trends in non-interest income, which can include fees from various banking services, wealth management, and investment banking, would shed light on their diversification strategy and success in generating revenue beyond traditional lending. The fact that this is an amendment to fix a signature is generally a good sign that the underlying financial results were not problematic enough to warrant a major revision. Companies typically only amend filings to correct minor administrative errors or to add missing information, not to alter significant financial data that was reported incorrectly, unless it was a material misstatement. So, while we don't have the specific numbers here, the context suggests the financial performance itself was reported as intended on the 23rd of January. Looking at the broader picture for Webster Financial Corporation, their business is centered on banking and financial services. This means their performance is heavily influenced by the broader economic conditions, interest rate policies set by the Federal Reserve, and the competitive landscape within the banking industry. In recent times, the banking sector has been navigating a complex environment with rising interest rates, which can boost net interest margins but also increase the risk of loan defaults and reduce loan demand. From a strategic standpoint, banks like Webster are constantly looking to grow their customer base, expand their service offerings, and improve their operational efficiency. They might be investing in technology to enhance digital banking experiences, looking for merger or acquisition opportunities to expand their reach or capabilities, or focusing on specific areas like commercial banking or wealth management. The registered securities listed, including the preferred stocks, indicate a well-established company with a capital structure designed to fund its operations and growth. The trading on the New York Stock Exchange means they are subject to rigorous reporting requirements and scrutiny from investors and regulators. So, what is my take on this filing? It is an administrative tidbit, really. The core financial story from Webster Financial Corporation for the quarter ending the 31st of December 2025 was already shared in their initial January filing. The amendment is just a procedural fix, adding a signature from the Chief Accounting Officer. This doesn't change the financial narrative that was likely presented in their press release. We can infer that the numbers they initially reported were considered accurate and complete from a financial reporting standpoint. Aside from that one signature, the real story, as always with a financial institution, lies in those press release numbers that aren't detailed in this specific document. We would need to look at that Exhibit 99.1 to understand if they are growing profitably, how their loan portfolio is performing, and if their costs are under control. The opportunities are usually around expanding market share and offering innovative financial solutions. The risks, as with any bank, involve the economic cycle, interest rate fluctuations, regulatory changes, and cybersecurity threats. In conclusion, this amended filing by Webster Financial Corporation doesn't reveal new financial information, but confirms the initial reporting was procedurally sound apart from a missing signature. For a deeper understanding of their performance, one would need to review the press release that accompanied the original report. Alright, that is our breakdown of Webster Financial Corporation's amended filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.